I'm Megan Bennett.
I'm Leslie Meyer.
And this is Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Megan.
Oh my God, you're strung out. I could tell.
I'm
You've been
so
driving.
tired. I've been in the car for hours. It was like, well, like 6.5 probably altogether. I did make a pit stop.
It's like 6.5 to like one way.
No, it's only like the drive is probably should be about 5.
Gotcha.
But traffic, and then I pit stopped at Jungle Gyms.
Nice.
To pop into the spirits section to get some of that good Ohio Irish whiskey that we can't get in Indianapolis, even at the Snug of Irvington.
For people who are not familiar with Jungle Gyms, it is a massive grocery store with a ridiculous international section. You can get pretty much anything you want at Jungle Gyms.
It's so much more than a grocery store.
Oh, yeah. There's some wild fruit.
Oh,
like you just walk through that produce section, you're like, what the fuck is that?
I was really struck by the seafood today because I was like, ooh, pungent. But the blue crabs were crawling in their little tank.
Crawling?
They were
alive. See, that makes me sad.
It does. It makes me sad too. Giant pet section. Fascinating. They have a huge pet section.
Like they're selling pets or pet food?
No, stuff. Like things, stuff. Toys, food. There's a like home goods, like cookware and all that stuff. I feel like it's
expanded.
It's just bizarre. It has the feeling of a, we're going to get like shitty comments from all the people in Ohio that love Jungle Gyms. It feels like a high-end flea market in parts. Not the whole thing. But in parts.
I can see that.
There's like the toy section, which I've never walked through before.
I didn't even know there was a toy section.
Games. Disney everything. They had all the like board games, and they had a case with stuff. There was some like Critical Role playing card, something. I don't know, whatever. This is all the nerd stuff. Every Funko Pop ever made, there were like thousands of them on shelves.
So it's clearly changed since I've been there.
So I guess they try to catch the kiddies as they walk in, and then there was a bunch of other stuff. And I bought a set of kitchen utensils for $8.
Nice.
I know. We just needed some new
Maybe
ones.
they just drop your kids off, and then you can go actually do the shopping because you leave your kiddos.
Well, and there's the whole bar in addition to like the giant wine section, the giant beer section, and all the spirits.
I feel like I was rushed through there.
It's insane. I got lost. I almost left in frustration because I couldn't get to where I knew I wanted to go because my children had requested there's very little directional signage.
No, that's true. That's true.
So I was like, okay, there's the bathroom, which isn't a bathroom. I mean, it's a bathroom.
I do remember the bar because there's a bathroom near the bar.
Which looks like the front of a porta potty.
Yes.
You open the porta potty door, which I was very perplexed by, and then you walk into restrooms, which they say are the world's best bathrooms, but they were not.
That is not true.
They were bathrooms, and it was fine.
I remember the British food section being really cool.
All
they had
the countries,
all the things.
All around the world, all the things. I brought home a bunch of weird chips because that was the request. And some nice Italian wines.
Nice.
And some Irish whiskey. And
maybe we
a nice rum.
Maybe we need a road trip sometime.
You need like breaks. You need a couple of hours and like breaks for like snacks and a drink, and then to wander some more and
spend some time in the
to
cheese
take it
section.
slow. So much. And I never am there when I have like a cooler, so I can't really like.
We need to plan.
Dive in. Yeah.
Let's plan it. We're gonna do it. Cincinnati, we gonna be in you.
Oh, and Cincinnati, so fun. One of my favorite places to go.
Agreed. I love it too.
It's a nice jaunt.
Well, welcome back. I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you got home safely.
I'm going to be pretty excited to, I'm going to stop messing with my microphone. I could just hear Tim's eyes. I'll be glad to sleep in my own bed, which will be pleasant because hotel sleeping is,
it can either be very, very good or absolutely dreadful.
This was fun.
And there's
I had 8 pillows.
Okay.
So it was
that's
like
helpful.
Great. And I had all the blankets. So that was fine. The bed was, but I had it all worked out. It was good. Like we're up very early every day. I usually don't get up at 6:30 in the morning, and I was up at 6:30 every day.
Yeah, no.
And it was a long ass day.
Well, I'm glad you're home and you can enjoy your chips and your wines and your
I'm excited about
whiskeys.
those wines. Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Thanks. How was your week?
Fine. I have no complaints.
Did you do anything exciting?
Not a damn thing. No.
You did something fun last weekend, didn't you? You went to it was your spouse's birthday.
It was my spouse's.
That was funny because we were gonna do something. We were gonna play games.
We were gonna play games, and then we didn't because I completely forgot his birthday.
Oops!
And I just forgot it again, so I suck.
But you were there in the moment when it happened.
Yes,
and that's all that matters.
We went to dinner. That was nice. Aww. I got him a lovely jacket for the fall. Ooh. And an
ascot?
Nice. He did not get an ascot with his jacket. No,
right.
Lovey. No, he did nothing quite so posh. It's like a nice little leather jacket that he can wear with jeans, or he can dress it up if he so chooses. So anyway,
Mr. Fancy,
my metrosexual. Yeah, no, it was fine. It was good.
Shout out. How should we start this show today? Because we're doing something a little different.
Well, so we should probably talk about that, because I feel like it was time maybe for a little bit of a mix up in the way we do things.
And we were getting bored, and quite honestly, not bored. After one calendar year, we can only talk about these significant holidays,
right?
Seasonal transitions from a Gen X perspective,
and our memories, right? Like we only have so many of those, and they're slipping away. So so I figured we probably needed to do something a little bit different. Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is that we are going to do slightly more deeper dives on some of these cool topics. Obviously, we're still going to throw our memories in there when we have them.
Absolutely,
because that's what we're all about.
We'll basically do whatever we want. But
exactly. And we're still going to be sick of shit because we are.
So sick.
So sick. So tired. But we're going to take topics occasionally and just go a little deeper on stuff.
Gen X relevant topics, memories from our childhood that we were like, why did that happen?
Right.
Who let us out? Why did they let us out?
Right. We need the history of this shit. Like, I want to know the birth, and this will be a future episode, why we have seatbelt laws, and what happened there, and who invented that shit. And we're going to talk about, like, I don't know, the TV dinners and where the hell those came from.
I think we should deep dive into this. I just totally cut you off. I'm so sorry.
You can cut me off anytime you want, baby.
I'm going to pause.
No, go, talk.
Oh, okay. Jesus. We should deep dive into beauty pageants sometime, because
fun.
I remember it being like an event to kind of watch, like Miss America when I was young.
Me too.
Which is, of course, influences everything about our experience, but I don't put that on a note script. Okay.
Hey, producer Tim will remember
beauty
that for us.
Pageants. Did you write that down? Thank you. Okay, great.
He's got
it. Because I'll forget as soon as we go on to the next topic.
Absolutely. No, I think that's right. And I think we've just got our master list, and we'll just start coming up with stuff, and then we're going to do some research. Amazing. And we're going to report back.
I think it'll be a blast. We'll see how people like it or not.
Well, and if there's topics that people want remember, sure. Like, and they're like, why the hell did we have Hands Across America? Like, and we talked about it, but we didn't go into any real detail about the why and the how and all the things.
And if there were regional things maybe that like we don't even know about, that might be interesting to kind of like hear from people like, oh, I remember this thing in my hometown and it's really weird. And will you try to find out why that happened?
I love that. Yes.
That'd be kind of interesting. But we're still going to keep some key segments as remembered. One of them being who died this week.
Yeah. So in the spirit of that.
Yes.
A woman by the name of Polly Holiday, which I got to say, fucking awesome name.
Amazing name.
You would know her better as Flo from the TV show Alice.
Flo.
Yeah. Would you like to do your best imitation?
Kiss my grits.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
I fucking loved Flo so much. I wanted to be Flo as a small child.
Who wouldn't? That hair, awesome. That sass. I mean, she was great.
Mm-hmm. Flo and Auntie Mame are my like spirit animals in terms of who I wanted to grow up to be. And I think I'm close.
I think, well, there's a picture, actually. It's funny. There's a picture here on the CBS News site.
Aww,
and I got to say, from a distance, you could probably maybe pass. I mean, a young
she's like
flow.
88
not there though. She's not 80. Jesus. Well, you did just drive 6 hours. You're probably tired.
I know. But I do. There is a photo of me in a play that I was in college, and I had sort of a similar vibe happening. It was,
she looked pretty cool.
I can't remember. I don't need to remember. She's awesome. I mean, that whole show was awesome. I think
it was really fun.
Just like.
Was it
women focused.
Vic Tayback, right? Was that his name? Vic Tayback was Mel. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Like
anyway.
The women ran the show, and there was like single mom action happening, and like working mom and raising your kids and like not putting up with shit. And it was really awesome.
It was really good. I agree. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'm very sad about that.
It's sad to lose her. She did live to 88, which is pretty nice. Florence Jean Flo Castleberry was her name on the show.
That's an amazing name.
Florence Jean Castleberry. Kiss my grip.
Polly Holiday.
I know.
They didn't really name their kid Polly Holiday. Do you think that was like her stage name? It's brilliant.
I don't know. But if her parents gave her that name,
I mean, I guess
why the hell would you get rid of it?
She should have also been like a vaudeville kind of performer, like a comedian, singer, dancer.
Yep.
Polly Holiday.
Kick
ass. Maybe I'll make a D&D character and name her Polly Holiday. So fucking
do it. Anyway, so yes, we lost her. And I'm sure there's other people.
Yeah.
But that was the one that really stood out. So, anywho.
So, topic for this eve.
So yeah,
what are we talking about this evening?
It just kind of hit me that one of the topics that you love Dungeons and Dragons
so much. I play a lot, not as much now.
But there was a time when loving Dungeons and Dragons might have made people question you a little bit.
What do you mean? About what?
About whether or not you were
being cool,
a devil worshiper.
Oh, well, I mean, that is a requirement. Like you buy your first book and then they send you a letter in the mail. It's coded.
You got to do some rituals.
Yep.
You got to sacrifice some
Polaroids
stuff and
send them back. It's for Gary Gygax. R.I.P.
Right.
The inventor, creator of Dungeons and Dragons. It's the cult of Gygax. That is actually true. There is a bit of a cult of Gygax, but problematic.
But don't you wonder like which came first, right? Like
right.
Like we're just gonna lean all the way into this devil worship shit.
He was just a simple shoemaker. Actually, we could create this right now, but we're not going to do that because
we're going to talk.
We have notes.
I have notes. Yes, we did. We just did some deep diving here on Satanic Panic.
Satanic Panic from the 70s and 80s.
Right.
Why do we? What is it? What are the origins? What's going on here? Why are we so freaked out by Satan?
Thank you for the church lady there.
Anytime.
She showed up. This is great. So if you were born in the early 1970s, then you grew up in a world where adults seemed really worried about hidden dangers, right? It wasn't...
Ironically.
Right. Because there's a part of me that's like, did they really give a shit? Because kids were kind of better.
I know. They didn't know where we were.
Right.
But they were really worried about things happening to us.
That whatever we were doing or what was happening to us involved devil worship and whatever.
Right.
So, but by the time you were a teenager, like in the mid 80s, all of those fears that people had really took a sharp and sinister turn. Parents, teachers, police officers, were suddenly convinced that Satanists were everywhere. They were hiding in daycares. They were sneaking into rock albums. They were luring kids with role-playing games. This was the Satanic Panic, a cultural wildfire that raged from the late 1970s into the early 1990s, and it sent a crap ton of innocent people into prison.
Holy
It
cow.
left scars that still shape conspiracy thinking today. I'm looking at you, QAnon. But it wasn't new. In fact, Satanic Panic was just the latest chapter in a story that has been playing out for nearly, get this, 2,000 years.
Or more.
For sure.
I mean, it goes all the way back to, oh my gosh, in the olden days, 177 CE.
Way
into the
way
19th
back.
century. Back
Good
in
Lord.
177 CE, the Roman city of, what do we think? Lyon? Lion?
Well, I believe it's Lyon.
Lyon, but they weren't
It's
French.
Well,
We're not going to get into the particulars of that. They weren't French. They were Roman. So it was actually probably in Latin. Early Christians were painted as monsters. Rumors spread that they held secret banquets where they molested, cannibalized, and sacrificed children. My golly gee willikers. The same people accused of eating babies in the 2nd century went on 1,000 years later to accuse other outsiders of eating babies. History is nothing.
Babies are delicious.
If not, why are we eating so many babies?
It was a thing. I mean, I guess.
I don't think that's ever really happened.
History is pretty lazy.
It is. So when Christianity later took power, the targets flipped. In 1144, England saw the first recorded blood libel.
Oh, nice. Everybody loves a good blood libel.
People were accused of ritually murdering a Christian child. The tale spread across Europe, immortalized in the church art and folklore.
Nice.
By the 19th century, American Protestants turned the panic on Catholics.
Oh, it's their problem now.
The bestseller Maria Monk's Awful Disclosures in 1836, supposedly an escaped nun's memoir, described convent orgies.
Sweet.
Again, baby murders.
Baby murders.
My gosh. And satanic rites. Imagine like the 1830s equivalent of like a viral TikTok being a fake nun memoir about satanic orgies.
Ah, nice.
Anthropologists called this demonology. Every culture invents its own story about ultimate evil. Sociologist Stanley Cohen later coined the term moral panic when societies in moments of stress manufacture folk devils to blame. That's the thread tying together like these 3 pieces of history.
Nice.
And then
that's awesome. By the late 70s, American society was a fertile ground for new panic. Families were changing fast. Divorce rates had doubled since the 1960s, and more women were now entering the workforce, and children were spending more time in dun 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 daycares. So to a lot of people, that whole shift felt really destabilizing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now all of a sudden women are out doing things, right?
Right.
The moral majority, the moral majority, which was founded in 1979, and the televangelism that happened, turned Satan in society into Sunday night primetime. You had Jerry Falwell, Pat Robertson, Jim Bakker. They regularly took to the television to warn you that Satan was active in schools, culture, and of course, politics.
Oh my gosh.
So the rise of televangelism made Satan a TV celebrity, always in reruns, never needing makeup. This dovetailed, of course, with politics. And by Reagan's 1984 re-election, the religious right had cemented itself as a cultural powerhouse. The idea that America was under siege by secularism, feminism, and the devil's music, hello, heavy metal, gave Satanic Panic the perfect stage. In the 1980s, Reagan was in the White House, MTV was in your living room, and according to your pastor, Satan was in your toy box.
I mean, it depends on which toy box you were looking at.
I mean,
quite honestly,
Satan was probably in my door. Pop culture fed the fear. So in 1973, The Exorcist came out, and its imitators normalized possession stories. True crime brought ritual overtones into real headlines. You had the Manson murders in 1969. You had the Zodiac Killer. You had Son of Sam. And then there was a book that kind of lit the fuse and pulled everything together, and that was called Michelle Remembers in 1980. It was written by a psychiatrist named Lawrence Padzder, P-A-Z-D-E-R, Padzder, and his patient, Michelle Smith. It claimed that Michelle had recovered memories of satanic ritual abuse. It was later debunked, but at the time it was a bestseller and it promoted on talk shows and was used, of course, in police trainings because you have to have your police trained to know what a fucking satanic ritual would even look like.
Well, of course. I mean, you have to be able to identify them on the street at any time.
You got to know what you're looking for.
Any moment.
So across the country, right, you have police departments in America teaching cadets about Satanism with a horror paperback as its manual. What could possibly go wrong?
I think that's completely reasonable. Well-researched, cited, scientifically proven.
I think that producer Tim has a clip actually from one of those.
Oh, one of the training
like the
videos?
Training, like a police training video.
Very obvious ritualistic markings that will appear on a body that is the result of satanic killings.
They're
oftentimes
obvious.
A cut that goes from behind the ear all the way down to the throat. There's wax laid on it to cover it up afterwards, after the body has deceased. Another area that you might find satanic ritual carving is in the stomach area. Note again the points representing again the goat's head. Now, as you look at the body of a person such as this, please note each and every one of these markings. But whatever it is, if you look just a little bit deeper, ask a few more questions, and note to the investigators more information, it could lead to the solution of other crimes that have been just passively sitting on the desk without any clues.
Oh, so
why is she so naked?
All of this, I don't know. I don't.
Why does a police
they have to
video
show the pentagram on her belly?
She could wear a pants and a pants. She could wear a pants
just one
and
pants.
a t-shirt. They put her, just for our listening, she is in like a string bikini.
Well,
that's pretty
cops
skeezy.
Like, hey, baby.
All right.
Nice.
I think it was just for like softcore cop porn. So now that we all know how to identify satanic ritual murders, I guess we're going to look at daycares.
Hell yeah, that's where it all got started, baby.
The flames were fanned between 1983 and 1990. In 1983, the McMartin preschool case, which I don't remember this because I was 10 years old. And I probably would not have heard about it because it was about child sexual abuse. Turned anxiety into a spectacle. It began when a mother reported her son's painful bowel movements to police, and they just decided that this child had been abused in some way, reflecting how much Padzder's satanic framework had already seeped into law enforcement. So they're kind of drawing a line between this book and then police training, and then this mother
Your
reporting
son was
constipation to the police. But it was, that was her first thought. Obviously, she's like, "Oh, something terrible must have happened." So then the police sent letters to 200 parents of preschool students. Are you a student in preschool? Preschoolers, urging them to interrogate their children. Which, if you're in preschool, you are 0 to 4.
Right.
Years old.
You're going to interrogate your 4-year-old child.
And the letter listed horrifying things that could potentially maybe have been done to children under the pretense of taking a child's temperature. And it also sent photos of unclothed children, which I find highly disturbing. It warned parents not to speak with staff and to keep the investigation secret.
Can you imagine as a parent?
Yeah, just getting this letter in the mail and then being like, of course, totally freaked out and panic. And they tell you not to talk to anybody. So you can't go and like compare stories or figure out if this is actually accurate.
Well, and the whole idea too, I think, was that they wanted you to interrogate your kid, and you're basically like saying, did this particular thing happen to you?
So they're suggesting it.
Right. So like
to
a
the
kid
child
is going to be like, okay, sure, yeah.
And your parents are really upset and you feel like you're in trouble because they're being very serious. So parents panicked, and under repeated questioning, children described tunnels under the school, witches, clowns, animal mutilations, and being flushed through toilets. Nobody stopped to ask how a child got flushed through a toilet and came out the other side just fine and went home after preschool that day, totally dry and not smelling like a toilet.
Everything's fine.
But that's fine. The case ballooned. 7 staff, 321 counts of abuse, 48 children. Trials dragged on until 1990. I knew nothing about this.
We wouldn't, right? Like this
I guess this middle school and high school for me.
I can't imagine that we would know much about this because I would have been 13, you were 10. It was just like...
And it probably wasn't like, there's not 24/7 news. I mean, it happened, but it probably was not on like the original 24/7 news.
So like this stuff we wouldn't necessarily have known about. It was later when it started to affect kind of us and the stuff that we cared about that we would have noticed.
The trials cost over $15 million, making it the longest and most expensive trial in U.S. history, and produced no convictions.
0.
Because it was not true. The longest, most expensive trial in history, and the only people found guilty were the taxpayers.
Ugh.
The
Crazy.
truth, nothing sinister was happening at McMartin. There was no Satan to panic over, but the template was set. And at that point, it's sort of proven that you can like whip people into a frenzy and suggest that things are happening and that will tap into their anxiety about whatever in the world, and everything will be evidence and proof of that. And then you can manipulate them.
Yeah. And the crazier, the better, right? Like it just
the more
there was
outlandish,
no line.
the more believable.
Right. Police were also trained to see cults absolutely everywhere. So occult crime seminars warned that black clothes, heavy metal posters, Dungeons and Dragon dice were the signs of Satanism. So basically the evidence of Satanism was the standard decor of literally every Gen X teenager's bedroom.
Who
right?
Knew
like
that Satan
all
loved
of
us so much.
Satan.
Just Gen X teens.
My dude.
Just us.
Right. Of course. There was also a comic from a gentleman named Jack Chick, and it was called Dark Dungeons, and it depicted a girl sucked into Satanism by a Dungeons and Dragons game who commits suicide after her wizard character dies. It became infamous, and it was later parodied in fan films.
Those I was aware of. The parody films.
Of those,
it was because I was like, this is hilarious.
Right. Only in the 80s could rolling a 20-sided die be seen as a gateway to eternal damnation.
My gosh. So people were like whipped into a frenzy. They were certain that like Satan was in every single one of our bedrooms, us young troublemaking teens. And then
black clad,
then people started to like, I guess, sort of repent. The ex-Satanists became like media darlings. Evangelical comedian Mike Warnke shot to fame with his 1972 memoir, The Satan Seller, describing orgies, murders, and child sacrifice before his conversion. His book, The Satan Seller, claimed he was a high priest of Satan before becoming a Christian comedian.
Yes.
I mean, because everybody loves a redemption story.
No.
The ultimate career pivot. Warnke toured churches, hit Oprah and Larry King, and cashed in. Grifter. He was later debunked, but by then countless pastors and parents had cited him as proof of all of this stuff.
He apparently even had his own airplane.
What do you mean?
Around. Like he owned his own airplane. Like he had made that much. He had just made that much money.
Oh,
he owned his own airplane. He could fly around doing his little comedy shtick. Seriously,
because of his
because he was an ex-Satanist,
not cultist, not Satanist.
I will say, if you ever get a chance, you should. I didn't include any of it here, but if you ever get a chance, you should listen to some of his, and I'm going to use quotation fingers, a comedy. because it is both dreadful
Big
and horrible. And then he transitions in from being a comic into telling these horrific stories of abuse and satanic rituals. It's like
that are all lies.
Like he's sitting there telling jokes to families and then just transitions not really well into his story.
So the kids would be there for these comedy shows?
Yes.
If you could see how far back in my head
they went very far back.
They can't
that was some cabals.
Much
so
further back than this.
When
Tim's like, hold on now, please.
No, it's so when I was growing up, we went to this very fundamentalist church, and I have a very distinct memory of guest pastors coming through to testify.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one guy that came through recounting his life as a hard rock musician.
Get out.
Until one night he was confronted with a demon at the end of his bed.
Yes.
And he called upon Jesus to push this demon away from him. And all the while you're looking around, and this is a church full of, kids, babies, and parents. And like the whole time it's like, what?
You're so terrified as kid. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. I have lots of thoughts about that.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you got out. Got 2 thumbs up.
There were like a lot of our parents of that generation were in, not that it's stopped, but like the culty church, like the pole barn church. I think there was like a rise and then a fall, and I think we're experiencing another rise of that. But it's church in the woods, man.
Well, seriously, all of that evangelical stuff that's on TV, that was just hammered into people's brains.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yes, and
hammered.
Lucrative. Those people made so much fucking money.
They made
the ultimate MLM.
Money.
My God. Okay.
So the panic expanded really into kids' bedrooms then. Heavy metal was accused of backmasking. There were Dungeons and Dragons. It was blamed for everything from, kids' suicides to just
bad grades.
You
getting in fights, smoking.
Everything.
Drinking. Sex.
Even like things like the Smurfs, the Care Bears, He-Man, all of that stuff was flagged as demonic by, one group or another. And in 1985, the Parents Music Resource Center, which you may remember as PMRC, if you are Gen X, it was co-founded by the lovely Tipper Gore, and she pushed Senate hearings on explicit lyrics.
Yes.
You had some superheroes out there defending things like Dee Snider of Twisted Sister.
I remember that.
Famously testified, and the result was the parental advisory sticker, which sort of backfired and became a badge of honors for teens, right?
Yep.
You wanted those albums with that sticker. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So that little black and white sticker became the best free marketing campaign the music industry ever had. Musicians ultimately got the last laugh. Slayer cheekily opened their 1985 album Hell Awaits with backwards masked chants of Join Us. And Ozzy Osbourne and Iron Maiden leaned into the devil imagery. Music didn't just survive the panic, it turned it, it weaponized it, and the devil became the brand. Shout.
Then we had...
Shout at the devil. Sorry, had a little Motley Crue moment.
I was like, oh, you're doing a microphone or a megaphone.
Megaphone.
Oh my gosh. I know words. I really do. So, in the 80s, we also had talk shows, which is how, what's his face? Names, words, straight in, straight out.
Oh, the comedian.
Wernke. He made the talk show circuit. And in 1988, Geraldo Rivera's NBC special, Devil Worship, Exposing Satan's Underground, drew 20 million viewers, the most watched documentary in NBC history at the time.
Until
I use documentary
Al Capone's
very
Vault,
loosely.
Right?
Oh, God, I watched Al Capone's Vault. What was that?
It was nothing.
It was just ridiculous. We
so
sat
ridiculous.
there. I mean, the era of the grift, we think that at least on social media, it's straightforward. Well, I think it's straightforward.
Mostly, yeah.
Many people believe it.
Sure.
But I'm just like, oh, look at that grift. Here were the contemporary beginnings, because the grift has always been a thing.
Devil worship, exposing Satan's underground.
Forget the Super Bowl. In 1988, America's biggest TV event was Geraldo telling you your neighbors were sacrificing goats in the basement because we all have goats.
Yes.
Oprah aired survivor claims that 50,000 children were kidnapped annually. Oh man, that feeds all the kids in the back of pizza.
I mean, no wonder. I guess
thing.
Maybe that's the birth of the whole Oprah thing, huh?
Donahue hosted tearful adults describing tunnels and rituals. Sensationalist stories vastly outpaced skeptics.
Why are there always tunnels?
I don't, because you got to go down in the underground.
There's always tunnels.
Where do I file my complaint? I was promised tunnels.
I wanted a flying car. You wanted a tunnel.
Half as
full
many
of
tunnels as
devil
there
worshippers,
should be.
I guess.
And the ones that exist, we can't get into, like the crypts, which, we can get into. The catacombs underneath, not crypts, catacombs underneath the city market.
Oh, yeah.
They
locally,
have tours and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go in those.
Yeah, but apparently there were supposedly
everywhere
magic tunnels.
Under schools.
Someplace.
Everywhere.
I don't know, but by the early 1990s, the panic unraveled because nobody found any tunnels. They just didn't exist, right? I know, burying the lead there. Courts overturned convictions because a lot of people ended up in jail. And in 1992, the FBI's Kenneth Lanning concluded there was, quote, no evidence of organized satanic conspiracies. So it turns out that the scariest thing about Satanism was just how much airtime Geraldo could get out of it. So a lot of therapists ended up facing lawsuits for implanting memories. Professional groups warned against hypnosis, and slowly child forensic interviewing standards improved. It was
Thank
about
goodness.
time, right?
The panic mostly focused on white middle-class daycare kids, unsurprisingly. Poor and minority kids facing real dangers like poverty and gangs didn't even make the evening news. But white suburban kids with imaginary tunnels, headline news.
Shock.
CSA was overrepresented among the poor, but reframing it as a middle-class problem made it politically palatable and profitable for therapy and law, which is really tragic.
Surprise.
It's horrifying.
But of course, in the way that things do, the panic didn't just vanish, it evolved. So in 1993, the West Memphis Three were convicted of murdering 3 boys in Arkansas, with the prosecution arguing that it was a satanic ritual. Their black t-shirts and interest in metal music were treated as evidence. In the 1990s, your fashion sense could get you convicted as a murderer, really. And then decades later, DNA tests excluded them from the crime scene, and they were released in 2011.
Oh my gosh. Almost 20
Right.
years.
That's an awful lot of time to spend in jail. When QAnon burst online in 2017, sociologist Mary DeYoung thought, well, here we go again. The tropes were identical. There were secret cabals. There were ritual child abuse. There was blood drinking elites. Only the villains changed, from daycare workers to Democratic politicians. So you just swap daycare workers for Democratic politicians, you add Wi-Fi, and voila, it is the same panic in a shinier outfit.
By the mid-90s, the Satanic Panic had collapsed under its own weight. No tunnels, no covens, no evidence.
Nope.
Damn it. But the kids who had grown up during the hysteria didn't just move on. They turned the whole thing into a joke. Because that's how Gen X copes with everything.
That is how we deal with everything.
Cartoons and TV parodies came first. Of course, we have seen all of these. The Simpsons poked fun at the idea of secret cults. South Park turned Satan into a comic character with a boyfriend in hell, one of my favorites. Horror comedy shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer leaned on occult tropes, but with a tongue-in-cheek kind of I mean, Buffy's fucking awesome. We can't even say that this is just because of that.
Awesome.
When Satan shows up as a lovesick cartoon character, you know the panic has lost its bite. Dungeons and Dragons, once blamed for summoning demons, came roaring back. By the 2000s, it was having a renaissance, embraced by nerd culture. In the 2010s, Stranger Things. 2010s? Is that when Stranger Things came out? I guess so, yeah. Late.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because we're on season 5. Wow.
We've just waited a really fucking long time.
Olden days. The 2010s, way back when. Horse and buggy. Stranger Things reframed D&D as the very essence of 80s nostalgia, which it fucking was.
Yes.
Making it cool again. Heavy metal and hard rock had the last laugh too. Bands like Slayer, Iron Maiden, and Ozzy Osbourne leaned into the devil imagery during the panic. And by the 90s and 2000s, it was practically mainstream. Marilyn Manson, questionably human, over-the-top theatrics in the late 90s were deliberately designed to freak out parents. Accurate and well done. And kids loved it. Yep. Kids, teens, young adults, you know. The parental advisory sticker was a badge of honor. CDs sold like crazy. Comedy shows like Metalocalypse and Tenacious D openly mocked the idea of satanic conspiracies, turning selling your soul to the devil into absurdist comedy.
Bring it.
I fucking love Tenacious D.
Yeah, me too.
The devil went from terrifying America to rocking out with Jack Black and Tenacious D, the pick of destiny. Metal, once demonized, now mainstream worthy. In 2019, the Metropolitan Museum of Art hosted an exhibit called Play It Loud, featuring Slayer, Metallica, and Black Sabbath alongside Beethoven's pianos.
I mean, if you make it in the Met,
right? I think you
made it.
Pretty fucking important. By the 2000s, what had once been considered as dangerous was being celebrated as art, entertainment, pop culture, and nostalgia. Kids who grew up in the shadow of the Satanic Panic didn't just survive it. We claimed it, owned it, and turned it into culture on our own terms. The ultimate revenge wasn't proving the panic wrong. It was laughing at it, making it wee. Satan didn't get our souls, but he sure gave us some great TV music and t-shirts.
Absolutely.
And we paid a lot of money for all of those things.
There was some really good t-shirts.
He didn't get our souls, he got our pocketbooks.
He got our money. For Gen Xers who were born in 1971, like myself, you were 12 years old when Michelle Remembers came out. You were 15 when McMartin broke. You were 17 during the PMRC hearings.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, 17. And you were 20 when Geraldo declared that Satanists were everywhere. You were the exact age adults thought was most at risk. How did that turn out, folks? Satanic Panic never really ended. It just got Wi-Fi, and we kids who survived warnings about Satan in our toy box, we grew up, we cranked out the metal, we rolled our dice, and we realized the real devil was fear itself.
The only thing you have to fear,
right,
is fear
is
itself.
the devil. No, just fear.
Truer words were never spoken. Absolutely. This was fun.
It was
what
fun.
A great bit of research. I mean, it's kind of fun to read through it. I remember it being a big deal, but I do think I have more memories of it being like a joke, right? Like late high school and college, just like how friggin' ridiculous it was.
And that had to be partly, I think, just us being Gen X, being cynical about the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the whole idea that some TV evangelist is going to tell you that, you know, the devil has your soul is just kind of super eye-rolling material.
Sure, but fear sells, right?
Absolutely,
I mean, it makes them lots of dollars, and it gives something to focus on in terms of their worries and anxieties instead of just like attending to their own lives.
Yeah, right.
In the day-to-day.
Well, and our general feeling about, I think, religion, too, had... like just people were less religious in our generation. Like us as kids generally were less religious than our parents or our grandparents or great grandparents, right? So like it was just a little more silly.
I definitely was like.
I do remember seeing the testimony, like Dee Snider on TV, and MTV like really elevated that. So you saw that stuff all the time.
I do remember that the preschool trial, which I already said, like never heard about that. But like, I'm curious if any of those kids have gone on to like write any sort of memoirs or reflect on. I'm curious about how that affected their later
like
lives.
If they remembered it, right?
Right,
like,
because it would have to be incredibly traumatic and memorable and confusing because these trusted adults are like putting you through this very tumultuous experience that was absolutely traumatizing.
For sure.
And then it just stops and goes away.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, people don't let things go. So did their families like grind away at it? Was it like bitter hatred on the inside of the family system for years and years and years? Or did they like apologize and like put their kids in real therapy with actual therapists?
I mean, I like to think that some of that happened. I do suspect that, you know, there were kids who, even though it was proven to be not real,
right,
you know, people dig in and parents dig in, and it's whether or not really they actually hard. Ever, you know, who knows?
It's hard for people to like question their sincerely held beliefs, particularly when they've invested so much time, energy, and money into believing something horrifying, even when you lay out like all of the facts to the contrary. You don't want to let that go, because if you do, I mean, it can kind of just crack your psyche open. Yeah. And you have to really question fundamentally everything. And then and then there's a flood of like guilt and shame, and it's hard for people to cope with. So they would rather just sit in their shit.
I'd like to think that we would be better than this, and we wouldn't we would have remembered or learned from that experience. And then the whole QAnon thing is just so lazy. Like, I just look at it now and I'm like, after reading and researching about that, I'm like, how lazy can you get to have like tunnels under a pizza place where people eat children? You know, come on. That's
why
been
are we
done.
always
why?
eating the children? If we are always eating the children, then where are the billions of bones of all of the little eaten children? Because there would be like quite the bone pit.
There would be way more parents missing their children.
Absolutely. We would have some more, you know, like missing children reports. I don't know. It just smelled like chicken
Milk
when
cartons.
I went in to get little Johnny out of bed today, but he was gone. It's just, I don't know why we're so obsessed with eating kids. They're not very tasty.
I can't imagine they would be.
They're germy and they poop. It's gross.
They probably make a shit ton of noise too.
Shit. That was a good joke. There you go.
Oh my God.
It is fascinating. And it's because our historical memory is only so long, right? And and we don't educate in quite the same way.
Right.
And there is less, it's like one of the downsides, I think, of the internet. Like, as much as we have access to more expansive information and we can learn a lot,
that misinformation spreads so much faster too. I wonder, like, if you looked at the timeline of Satanic Panic versus the timeline of QAnon, with knowing that you have the internet behind it,
right? Like,
it just caught fire so much faster than you know.
And there's less like return to reason. You know what? Like a
it just feeds on itself.
Of, like, return to normal, because almost the more niche that it gets, like the smaller or the tighter, more insular the community becomes, the more quiet they have to be, the more intense the beliefs are, the more that they're like self-validating all the time because you have no external input.
Right.
You're not like, as I like to say, touching grass. Go outside, touch some grass, look at the sky. You know, we just have to stop. And I think bubbles like that are problematic across the board. But when you really feel that you have to be secret and that somehow makes you extraordinarily special, that is a self-reinforcing narrative that is delusional. I mean, it's absolutely delusional. I could talk about it for days, but we should probably wrap this shit up.
We should, because producer Tim needs to do some editing.
Yeah, my golly.
This was super fun.
I enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
I look forward to more. I hope people enjoy listening to it.
I hope so too. And if you have ideas for future episodes and things we should dig into, please let us know. We would love to know.
Oh yeah, and we asterisk on our research. We are only as good as the internet. So
that's
just,
true.
You know, we're not MIT.
Not yet.
We're not Harvard or Yale.
We haven't been sued yet.
Nope. So
our funding, we didn't have funding to begin with. So
we're not saying that every fact was 100% true, but it's as true as we care to get it for these purposes.
It's pretty. Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say shit.
I believe it. Yep. I mean, it's the what is it? Oh, I can't even remember the thing that we would say. Gen expert. It's Gen expert, not an expert.
It's Gen only been a week.
Not an expert. It's fine. I have very few brain cells left. This was awesome. Thanks for pulling all the threads together.
All right. Well, let's do it again.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks.
High fives. I don't know why I did that.
I don't either, but it's fine.
Have a good night.
Thanks. You too. See you later. Goodbye.
You have been listening to Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit. Hey, Megan.
Hey, Leslie.
What do people do if they want to find us?
Well, we have a website that people can find us on, and that is genxwomenpod.com. We also have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram account as well. Mm-hmm. We have a YouTube account where we put YouTube shorts and other little tidbits up there. We have a TikTok account.
I don't talk the tick or tick the talk.
You don't tick the talk?
I do not.
I barely talk the tick, but I did put a TikTok up.
We're explaining the internet to people. That's okay, though.
It's great.
We need to know how the internet works. Can people buy merch?
They absolutely can. We have a merch store on the website itself, and we also have an Etsy store, too. So they're just pretty easy to find. It's just Gen X Women on Etsy.
And if you are listening to this podcast, presumably you found it somewhere. And while you're there, give us a review.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Throw some stars at us.
That'd be great. We'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Ooh, 5.
Maybe 10.
And also make sure that you are hitting subscribe so that you're notified whenever a new episode drops.
Most important.
We also have a 5 minutes of fame that I think we should tell people about, too.
Hell yes. We want to know your stories, your 5 minutes of fame stories. You can send those stories in on the website, or you can call 1-888-GEN-X-POD and leave your story for us, and we will play it live in our next episode.
Yep.
2 or 3.
We'll listen to it on a little red phone, just like Batman.
That'd be cool. Let's get a bat phone.
A bat phone.
I think that's it.
I think you're right.